Hi, on Thursday I posted a video that was originally the beginning of this video, which is a Q&A about being a freelance musician in New York City. I decided that I needed to tell you guys a little bit more about my career before getting into the questions, and I got really carried away and ended up talking for about 10 minutes, so I decided to break the video into two parts. If you haven't watched that one yet and don't really know what I do and you're curious, go watch that one before starting the Q&A. It's totally not necessary to enjoy this video, but it definitely does provide a little more insight as to what I do. If you're not interested, that's totally fine. Short story, I am a clarinetist. I perform and I teach lessons on clarinet, saxophone, flute, and piano in New York City, and I've been doing so since I finished my master's degree in clarinet performance in May 2019. Please remember to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the little bell guy to be notified every time I post. Enjoy the video. Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Hannah, and I'm a 25-year-old musician living in New York City, and that is exactly what we're going to talk about today. I asked you guys on both Instagram and Facebook to ask me some questions about what it's like being a musician in New York City. I'm going to go to the Facebook questions first, and the first one is from Garrett, and he wants to know, what is the most common reaction you get when you tell someone what you do for a living? Yeah, but what's your real job? You can get a degree in that, but what do you ultimately want to do though? You know, once you get older, you get paid for that? Those are all, unfortunately, very real things that people have actually said to me in real life. It's really easy to get bitter about that kind of thing, but I mostly just laugh it off. I totally get that a lot of people just don't understand and they're curious and they don't mean to be rude sometimes. But other times there's just this tone and sense of judgment that comes with it, and it's very demeaning and gross, and it doesn't feel good. I think a lot of that doesn't even stem so much from the musician thing as the whole freelance gig economy worker, I do multiple jobs type of situation that I'm in. I think if I told someone I had a full-time orchestra job or I taught college or whatever, something a little more cut and dry, then they would be more likely to understand. I think that a lot of assumptions are made about freelance work and self-employment that aren't always true. A big one that I get is, but what about healthcare and retirement benefits? So you can set those things up on your own. You do not need an employer to get those things. Yes, healthcare costs a lot of money, but when you're a salaried employee, that is factored into your paycheck. It's still not free. The only difference is that I'm seeing that money before it's taken out, so it stings a little bit. But on the flip side of all that negativity, some people are so genuinely interested and sweet, and they ask for links to my website, and they want to hear me play, or they're telling me about their friend's child who might like music lessons, and all sorts of wonderful, sweet things. Oh, the best one is when you run into another musician in a place that it's not really expected, and it comes out that you're both musicians, and there's just this overwhelming sense of understanding, and this just big sigh of relief that there's somebody there that gets you. It's really awesome. Oh, before I move on to the next question, I just want to show you guys my shirt. It says, "My wand chose me," and it has clarinet on it. And my best friend Marissa got it for me for Christmas this year, and I love it. It's very cute. Anyway, Mona says, "Did you know I once sang in Carnegie Hall? Have you?" No, Mona, I didn't know that. That's so amazing. I've never sang in Carnegie Hall, but I have played the clarinet at Carnegie Hall. I played there my senior year of college with the Virginia Tech Wind Ensemble. Fun side story to that, I have a bucket list that I've kept since I was about 12 years old, and the very top thing on there was to play at Carnegie Hall. And when I found out that that would be happening, I straight up cried. So several weeks later, I get a call from a journalist for the Virginia Tech newspaper telling me that my wind ensemble director had told him about this, and she wanted to talk to me about it. So there's now an article on the internet that includes a whole section about my tears. I will include that in the description, I think. Debbie wants to know, what would my dream job be? You know, I feel like the older I get, I don't know that I really have a dream job. I have like this whole list of goals and achievements and things that I would like to do, but none of that really pertains to a solid, steady job. I really, really love being a freelancer and being self-employed and getting to do all these things that I might not get to do if I just had a stable full-time job. I would like to start doing some theater, playing in pit orchestras. I really love theater. I've especially gotten to see a lot of theater since we moved, and Ross has been doing sound for shows, and I've gotten a lot more interested in playing in pit orchestras, which is why I'm trying to improve my flute and saxophone skills. In musical theater, you typically need to be able to play more than one instrument. It makes you a lot more marketable. So that would be fun. I would really love to go on tour with some big stars orchestra. I know people who have toured with Josh Groban and Adele and other just total superstars. I think that would be a lot of fun. I want to play at Carnegie Hall again as a professional rather than a student. And I want to release an album. Those are some of my goals. It doesn't really answer the question of dream job because I'm not sure that I really have one anymore. But there are definitely a lot of cool things that I want to do. Rachel says, is that the instrument that Squidward plays? Yes. My very sweet friend Adelaide that I met in Cincinnati says, Hannah, I love this. So proud of you, and I hope you're doing well. I'd love to show this to my students, and one thing I know they'd love and need to hear about is how entrepreneurial you have to be to get your career rolling. Can you tell us about ways that you've had to make your own opportunities and be your own manager? First of all, that's awesome. Hello, Adelaide's students. I'm sure you guys are lovely. Your teacher is one of the kindest people I know. Making your own opportunities is the absolute most important thing you can do if you're trying to get a freelance career going. You have to get really, really comfortable with networking and reaching out to people that you either don't know or only know a little bit. When I first moved to New York, I emailed anybody that I had even met one time and ask them if they would like to get a cup of coffee with me and just chat about their careers, get to know people, learn what other people are doing, and find what is interesting to you and just go for it. The way that I got my audition with the orchestra that I was talking to in the beginning is I reached out to their personnel manager and said, hi, do you have any substitute jobs? And was given this opportunity. So that's something you can do. Reach out to any orchestra in your area that seems feasible for you. Being young and inexperienced still, I wasn't going to reach out to the New York Philharmonic, but there are tons of other orchestras in New York that were tangible for me. And you'll learn that stuff as you go. But just reach out to their personnel managers, send your resume in, ask if there are any open spots on their substitute list. If you're interested in doing theater, reach out to people in the pit orchestras and ask if you can come and sit in and watch. That was another thing that I was about to do in March. Ross met someone who was actually a CCM graduate as well and asked if I'd like to come and sit in and follow the read book during a show one night, and I was gonna do that, and that's how you get your foot in the door. You just do all these small things and you make these connections and you just gradually build this network and boom, there are some jobs. Okay, last Facebook question and then we're gonna move on to Instagram. Michael wants to know, what are the biggest adjustments and challenges that you've had to face in terms of teaching and performing during the pandemic in NYC? I definitely touched on this a lot in the beginning, but performance work is pretty much gone, and that's really hard. It's really hard to stay motivated to practice and keep working when no one's gonna hear me play for a while, you know? It's easy to say, oh, I don't have to practice today because I don't have anything coming up. It's not gonna hurt. Also, adjusting to teaching online was really hard. And like I said earlier, it's really great now that I've got the hang of it. I actually really enjoy it. I love having students all over the country. I have students in California, Massachusetts. Shameless plug right now. If you are looking for clarinet, saxophone, flute, or piano lessons for you or your child, I am going to link my website in the description. Please contact me. You can be anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter. We will make it work. But generally just having less work, feeling like I'm not progressing as much as I would like has been the hardest part of this. And of course, the financial hit as well has been hard for everyone. Okay, on to Instagram. Jen is too cringe says, how does your schedule compare to a non-musician's? Does it create issues? Yes, sort of. A lot of my friends are musicians, which helps a lot, but it can be really difficult hanging out with your non-musician friends or family because my schedule is typically evenings, nights, and weekends. Whereas most people start their day at 9 o'clock in the morning, I don't start teaching until kids are out of school in the afternoon. And then performances are nights and weekends. So that does conflict with the schedules of non-musicians a whole lot, which can be tricky, but it's not so bad. Broadway Mike 92 says, were you in marching band? Yeah, I was in marching band. I did marching band from the 7th grade all the way through high school. And then I didn't continue marching in college. AlleyCat92_ZA had 2 really great questions. Her first one was, have you ever dealt with performance anxiety? Yes, I have. So there's normal performance nerves that you get, right? Where your heart beats a little fast and you're nervous to go out on stage because so many people are watching you. That's totally normal. And for a long time, that's what I thought performance anxiety was. Until I started graduate school at CCM and experienced real, honest, debilitating performance anxiety for the first time ever. I was very nervous being in a new place with such high-level musicians. CCM is a very good school and everybody there played really, really well. And the first time I had to play for the entire clarinet studio in a master class, I really experienced performance anxiety for the first time, to the point where it affected my playing. I didn't play very well at all. And then the next day, when I had my regular clarinet lesson, my teacher was like, what happened? You play better than that in lessons. And I said something along the lines of, well, I couldn't feel my lips, and I also couldn't hear myself playing. And he was like, oh. And that was when I realized that I was really, really experiencing performance anxiety on a debilitating level. And I experienced it like that for a little while after that. It was like the very first time just kind of kicked it off. I eventually managed to work through it, and I don't... Water. I eventually worked through it, and I don't experience it on that level anymore. At this point, I would say I just get normal performance nerves. Her other really great question was, if you could collaborate with any other musician in the world, who would it be? I can answer this so fast. The one thing that I would really love to do, and I didn't mention it earlier because I knew this question was coming up, I want to play Freebirds by Scott McAllister. It is for clarinet duet and band. A wind ensemble. But I want to play that piece with Michael Winograd and Wolfpack. That would just be the coolest thing that I could ever do, ever. Like doing the duet with Michael and then having Wolfpack come up with some sort of arrangement for the band part. That would just be so sick. If there is any chance that you guys are watching this video right now, which I doubt you are, just Cherry Boy Hunter says, did you write your theme song? I believe she means my theme song here on my YouTube channel. And yes, I did write my theme song. So I'm not actually much of a composer. I compose sometimes for fun, but that's not my specialty by any means. But one night I was in the shower and I started humming the melody. And for whatever reason, I was compelled to hum it into a voice note on my phone. So then a couple of months later, Silverstein Works, the company that I worked with on Woodwind Fest, they did a competition. They were looking for an audio logo to put on any video materials that they put out. And I was like, remember that melody I was humming in the shower that one time? So I got that back out and I wrote it out for 4 clarinets. I wrote out the melody and then the harmonies and the other 3 clarinets, and I recorded it all myself and submitted it for that competition. It did not get chosen. I did get a prize though. It ranked in like the top 60 or something, but it wasn't used for that. And then when I decided to make my YouTube channel, I was like, Here we go. This is perfect. I have a theme song now. Emily says, what makes you stay motivated doing the same thing every day? So I actually don't feel at all like I do the same thing every day. I know that Emily is also a musician. She's really wonderful. She's very supportive. She's always liking and commenting on my stuff, and I know she always watches. So hi, Emily. Thank you so much. But I get what she means. It can feel like as a clarinetist, we do a lot of the same things a lot. You know, you're always practicing fundamentals. There are always certain things that you do over and over. I get what she means. But in comparison to so many jobs, I'm so not doing the same thing every day. Even teaching lessons. Say I'm teaching lessons 4 days in a row. I'm still teaching a different student every time. And it's totally different. We're working on different materials every week. That adds a lot of variety. I'm getting to work with different musicians. I'm getting to play different repertoire. It's so exciting and it's so different. And I think there is a lot more variety than you get in most jobs. And I'm very thankful for that because I don't think I could do the same thing every day. So final question to wrap this whole thing up is for Magdalena Hannah, and she says, do you ever regret choosing to be a musician? No, I don't. There are times, of course, when I'm watching my friends that chose career paths that got them high-paying salaries right out of school. There are times when I really don't want to practice. There are times when I'm struggling. This whole COVID time, for example, that it does cross my mind. Like, I could have done something else and it might have been easier. But no, I don't regret it at all. I truly don't think that I could have done anything else. This is what I'm meant to do. I knew that from the second that I started playing music. I was one of those weirdos that have literally known what they wanted to do on some level since I was a child. So no, I don't regret it at all. Alright guys, thank you for asking me all of those amazing questions. I hope this was informative and fun and interesting, and maybe I could provide some level of understanding about being a freelance musician that maybe you didn't know before. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. I would love to make another one in the future with even more of your questions, and your likes and comments help me know if you enjoy this or not, and if you want that kind of content. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please do so. I upload new videos every single Saturday. Also, make sure to turn the little bell guy on so that you're notified every time I post. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.